Hello and welcome. It's so good to see you all again at the Tech and Auto Show. That one show which satisfies your hunger for both technology and automobiles right at one place. So just like every time, we are going to start off by showing you a glimpse of what we have lined up for you in the next half an hour. This week on the show, we are bringing you the review of the Google Pixel 3 XL and also the review of the Mahindra XUV 500 and also have a conversation about autonomous cars. So we are starting off the show with some technology action, and we are talking about the Google Pixel 3, which has been launched recently. Now, up until last year, the Google Pixel 2 was the best camera smartphone, and Google says with the Pixel 3 and the Pixel 3 XL, the story goes forward. But is that really the case? Well, Vishal is taking a look.
You've probably seen this before, haven't you? This is the Google Pixel 3 XL, and let's just call it the leakiest phone Google has ever made. This phone was all over the internet in the weeks heading up to the launch, and it even went on sale in Hong Kong a few days before the actual launch of the phone. But that shouldn't stop this from setting new benchmarks in the Android ecosystem. But does it? We find out. For starters, the design feels significantly better than before. Even though the Pixel 3 XL looks very similar to last year's Pixel 2 XL, the glass and the aluminium feel much better to hold. What we have here is the color option that is called Not Pink. Okay Google, we will trust you with that one. The upper portion of the back panel is glossy while the rest of the panel has a matte look. The Pixel 3 XL is quite grippy to hold, and that is great for what is essentially a large screen phone. All in all, this is a refinement of the design we saw in the Pixel 2 XL. While the last year's larger Pixel phone faced significant criticism for a very muted display, we suspect that the 6.3-inch OLED screen on this one will not have any such problems. It is bright, rich, sharp, and offers great viewing angles as well. Then there is the small matter of the notch. Well, the notch that isn't exactly small. There is no way that you will not notice it at the top of the screen. Nevertheless, we got used to it beyond a point, and it may really not intrude on any of the apps that you may be using on the phone. However, many users may find this akin to the notch of shame. It is with a bit of trepidation that we share the experience of using the phone with 4 GB of RAM. At this moment, it is fast and fluid to use with no delays or lags. We hope it stays that way over time, as more data fills up in the Pixel 3 XL. It is hard to ignore the fact though that Google refuses to really talk about the specifications of this phone, focusing instead on the experience. That said, this clean and uncluttered as well as unaltered version of Android 9 Pie could actually never really struggle on 4 GB of RAM, considering there's nothing else that is using up the system's resources. But you'll have a hard time justifying this to your friends who have a phone with 6 GB or 8 GB of RAM. Then there is the camera, which has been touted as the best among all smartphones. Specific pot shots have been taken at the iPhone XS Max as well. Sadly, however, the Pixel 3 XL doesn't really walk the talk. Yes, it captures great detailing and accurate colors. But look, two pieces of optical hardware pulling in a certain amount of data in a photograph will always have an advantage over a single camera trying to do the same job. Artificial intelligence can only take you that far before the proverbial ceiling is reached, and it has. The iPhone XS Max reproduces better color. Sometimes the Pixel 3 XL's photos have an even warmer tone than the iPhone, something that the iPhones have been criticized for. The AI working in the background tends to have a mind of its own as well. All said and done, the Google Pixel 3 XL is a very likable phone. I like how it holds, the bright display, and the great battery life. Unfortunately, the camera isn't going to beat the iPhone XS Max, at least not at the moment. However, that said, Android flagship phones could do well to watch out for the threat that this poses. Even though this may be a little down on specs, it doesn't matter because the performance and the experience is top-notch.
So now it is time to move on to some auto action. Now, one of the most popular 7-seater offerings in the Indian market right now is the Mahindra XUV 500. And now Mahindra has come out with a new one. So Archie decided to spend some time with it, and here's what he has to say.
While Mahindra Scorpio has long served the buyers looking for a 7-seater budget SUV in India, the very fact that the spending capacity has increased helped Mahindra to launch a more premium product, the XUV 500. Needless to say, the decision was rational and the product became an instant hit. And now Mahindra has revamped the XUV 500.
The Mahindra XUV 500 was always designed to look like a premium SUV, with a balanced approach making it look like a proper SUV, yet not that aggressive. The facelift of the Mahindra XUV 500 carries the same design language, but in a more refined manner. There's a new front grille with a lot of chrome throughout the grille. The LED DRLs, headlamps and teardrop fog lamps all have been reprofiled. The top spec model gets a dual-tone skid plate and 18-inch diamond-cut alloy wheels. The rear has also been redesigned with a new tailgate and triangular tail lamps. However, it is the cabin of the new XUV 500 that has received a much-needed update, not in design but in styling.
What fascinates me the most is the fact that Mahindra has completely changed the feel of this cabin, especially with these tan brown leather seats.
The XUV 500 now comes with dual-tone interiors and has tan-colored leather seats. That adds to the premium value of the SUV. The center console now gets a piano black treatment with chrome inserts, and there's a soft touch trim on the dashboard and the doors. The rest of the cabin looks the same with the 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system with a nice user interface and animation. The steering wheel with mounted controls, instrument console and AC controls are all the same. The XUV is a feature-rich car and gets electronic driver seats, sunroof, 6 airbags, ABS with EBD and more. We found the placement of the keyhole and the handbrake lever odd. The front seats offer a nice and wide view of the road ahead and are comfortable for a long journey. The middle row is wide enough to seat 3 adults with ease, while in the third row only 2 adults can adjust. Practicality-wise, there are enough cubby holes to keep your stuff around.
So the biggest problem in the new XUV 500 is still the same as the previous generation model, because with the third row of seating up, the boot space is negligible.
Coming to the engine, the XUV 500 facelift is available in the 2.2-litre diesel and a 2.2-litre petrol option. And there are both a manual and an automatic gearbox on offer. We test drove the manual diesel unit that now generates 153 brake horsepower instead of earlier produced 140 brake horsepower. The torque is rated at 360 Nm and is peppy enough for a fun-filled drive. The 6-speed manual gearbox stutters while starting, but has long gear ratios, meaning you don't need to downshift while overtaking in traffic. There's a bit of body roll, which is obvious considering the height of the XUV 500. The steering is nimble to operate, but has a bit of understeer, which can be a bit of trouble while taking a turn from standstill. The ride quality is not a trademark of most of the Mahindra cars, but the plush seats make up for the otherwise average suspension.
So the Mahindra XUV 500 successfully bridges the gap between a compact SUV and a premium 7-seater full-grown SUV. And with this facelift, Mahindra has hit the final nail in the coffin. You get a premium-looking SUV with decent cabin, 7 seats and a sunroof, all under Rs 20 lakh.
Now, at the beginning of the show, we showed you our review of the Google Pixel 3 XL, whose one of the strongest points, other than the camera of course, is the stock Android OS. Now, there are other companies which are trying this out as well, and the latest phone to join that bandwagon is the Motorola One. But here's the thing, you don't have to break your bank to get your hands on one. Vishal is telling you more.
Android One is clearly the flavor of the season. This clean version of Google's operating system has been used to great effect by Nokia and Xiaomi. Now it's the turn of Motorola to add an Android One phone to its lineup. It's called the Moto One Power, and we feel it lives up to its name. Let's find out why. We are happy with Motorola's choice because mid-range Android phones no longer need to be bogged down by pointless and unnecessary customizations. which may impact overall performance. What you get is a clean software with no unnecessary complications, customizations or preloaded third-party apps. Good foundation that to build on. In terms of the looks, the One Power is a considerable departure from the design language of other Moto phones that we have become accustomed to. That said, pick up the Motorola One Power and there's a reassuring heft to it. The reason for the added thickness is the large battery inside. The Motorola One Power has a notched 19:9 aspect ratio display, which ticks off the modernity checklist. The 6.2-inch screen is an IPS panel, which is bright and negates reflections quite easily. Surprisingly though, the colors on this screen don't look very rich, and in fact feel a tad subdued. That's surprising for an IPS screen. This is a large display though, which makes it great for pretty much viewing anything on it. Performance is one aspect where the Motorola One Power truly exceeds expectations. In fact, this phone doesn't betray any hints that it's heating up. And even though this phone isn't running the Qualcomm Snapdragon's flagship processor line, this is more than capable of handling multitasking easily. Battery life is the true highlight of this phone. The large 5000 mAh battery lasts 2 days, with around 3 hours of screen time every day. The battery's endurance is already very good and should become better when Android 9 Pie rolls out for this phone later this year. Speaking of which, the phone runs Android 8.1 Oreo out of the box, but the Android Pie update is expected soon. If you have been using a Motorola phone, you would perhaps be pleased to find the familiarity aspect of the Moto actions remain as it is with the One Power. Apart from that, the phone is a completely refreshed look at what Motorola is trying to do. The Motorola One Power is a phone that means business. It doesn't claim to be an iPhone killer and whatnot. It delivers on what it promises, which is a great build quality, good battery life, and a genuinely large screen experience. This should become even better once the next Android version, the Android 9 Pie, rolls out for this phone sometime later this year.
Now I don't know about you, but I really don't like driving in traffic. The solution to that problem is, well, AMT transmissions. And Datsun is hoping to make big on that by offering the Ready Go 1-litre engine option with the AMT transmission and pricing it aggressively as well. But have they cut any corners? Well, Arjit finds out next.
Unlike West, the Indian car owners are too fixated with the idea of a manual transmission, and the cost has a lot to do with it. Now the automated manual transmission or the AMT has changed this equation largely, and joining the list of budget manufacturers who offer an AMT in their hatchback is the new Datsun Ready Go. How good it is? Let's find out.
On the first glance itself, Datsun Ready Go 1.0 AMT manages to differentiate itself from the rivals and without much difficulty. However, the exterior is similar to that of the Ready Go 800 and the Ready Go 1-litre. There's not even the AMT badge to differentiate the AMT version from the manual versions. The silhouette of the Ready Go exudes a tall boy design and is complemented by bold body lines on the door as well as the bonnet. The stretched back trapezoidal headlamps, a hexagonal grille with hexagonal elements encased inside chrome lining, horizontal DRLs, muscular wheel arches and a protruded rear end all make the Ready Go a sure shot charmer in this segment. Like the exteriors, the interiors too are similar to that of the manual 1-litre Ready Go. The only differences are the AMT gear lever, new Bluetooth enabled music system and the multi-information display, which now gets a gear position indicator instead of a tachometer. We were expecting a Renault Kwid 1.0 AMT style rotary dial to add to the cool quotient of the car, but that doesn't mean we are disappointed by a conventional gear lever either. However, what we are disappointed with is the quality of the plastics and the fit and finish. The all-black cabin with silver highlights looks good, and there are plenty of storage spaces to keep your knickknacks in. There's parcel tray above the glove box, below the aircon unit, near the gear lever and behind the steering, making it immensely practical car. Then there are clever innovations like adding bottle holding pouches to the side of the front seats, which add space for the rear passengers. A tall boy design and a large glass area translates to a roomy cabin in an otherwise compact car. The Datsun Ready Go 1.0 AMT is powered by the same 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine, generating 68 horsepower output. We have already driven the 1-litre Ready Go and did a comprehensive review of the same, and like our previous experience, the 1-litre engine proved to be a peppy unit. This time though, we drove around the AMT version of the Ready Go.
Now Datsun has managed to tune this AMT gearbox really well, and what we especially like about this gearbox is the fact that it has a creep function which enables the car to move at a speed of about 5 to 7 km per hour without pressing the accelerator in bumper to bumper traffic.
Datsun is a bit late to the party considering both Maruti Suzuki Alto K10 and the Renault Kwid 1.0 are being offered with an AMT for long now. However, they did tune the gearbox really well to get the most out of the gearbox in the city traffic. We particularly liked the creep mode that enables the car to move at a speed of 5 to 7 km per hour in bumper-to-bumper traffic without pressing the accelerator as such. There's some AMT-ish hint while pressing hard in terms of the lag and noise, but it's smooth enough for intra-city commutes. Another welcome to the AMT unit is the manual mode that responds very well to the otherwise peppy engine. In terms of handling, the Ready Go steering is a delight to operate in narrow spaces, which also happens to be its negative aspects when on highway speeds, as the steering lacks confidence. Overall, the AMT of Ready Go is the best tuned gearbox in its segment.
There's a large demographic of youth in India who wants to own a good-looking budget compact hatchback. Datsun promises to cater this market with the Ready Go hatchback. Now by adding the AMT gearbox as an option, Datsun has made the Ready Go even more suitable for the modern Indian buyer.
Now, autonomous driving technology, or what one may simply call it as driverless vehicles, are all the rage right now, with all the companies trying their hands on it. Well, we got into a conversation with ZF Group, who say that it is not personal vehicles who will be the flag bearers for this technology, but perhaps it will be commercial vehicles. Well, have a look at our conversation.
The future of mobility, as we know it, has a lot to do with the electric autonomous vehicles. And at the 2018 ZF Technology Day, ZF is showcasing the same thing, but with a focus on the commercial vehicles. A lot of companies are developing technologies to perfect autonomous cars, but none has actually mastered the technology so much that they can sell it commercially. However, component manufacturer ZF believes that autonomous technology will be much more successful and develop at a rapid pace in the commercial vehicles, most of which works in a closed loop. At ZF Technology Day 2018, the German company showcased many technologies pertaining to autonomous commercial vehicles.
My name is Frederick Stedler. I'm the head of commercial vehicle in ZF. And we're very super excited to share with you well-known technologies as well as new technologies, our next generation mobility, and our answers to next generation mobility includes fully electrified drivetrains, autonomous vehicles operating in dedicated areas, integrated safety approach, and of course vehicle motion control. Commercial vehicle is one fundamental pillar of ZF. Aside from the passenger car, we have commercial vehicle technologies, industrial technology applications, and we in ZF have always believed in the ability to carry over technologies from passenger car into commercial vehicles and vice versa. Smart logistics, we look at the whole value chain of logistics, from the long-haul truck delivering into the depot, inside the depot, and of course the management of even production value chain. And smart logistics requires solutions that are either electrified and or autonomous, and in the combination of this, ZF can be the partner of choice. So ZF has the unique opportunity to bring together its engineering capabilities and know-how on the see, on the think and on the act side. So we're having actuators, we're having sensors, and we bring this together in the think part, in the computing power such as the Pro AI, and this is the basis for our solutions in autonomy. Super excited about the Indian market, particularly the development over the last year and a half. and ZF is continuously investing into the Indian market with engineering resources, but also with an increase in footprint and industrialization.
Now, there have been a lot of happenings both in the world of technology as well as automobiles since we met you last week. And in case you missed out on any of them, well, don't worry, we have you covered. As coming up next, we're bringing you up to speed with all the major events.
A complaint has been registered in an Uttar Pradesh court against Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and 3 others for using national symbols and letterheads of President Ramnath Goenka and Prime Minister Narendra Modi on its site without due permission. WhatsApp is reportedly working out on 3 new features, including linking your account to Instagram in order to improve its chat and notifications for its over 1.5 billion users. Apart from linked accounts, the 2 other features under development are vacation and silent mode. Reliance Jio's investment in Hathway Cable and DEN networks could be significant in kick-starting the home broadband space in India. The company has acquired 66% stake in DEN and 51.3% in Hathway. From the world of automobiles, Hyundai is all set to launch its much-awaited hatchback 2018 Santro in India on October 23rd. And the prices of the new car have been leaked online a week before the launch. As per the temporary price list leaked online, the prices of the new 2018 Hyundai Santro starts from 3.88 lakh rupees ex-showroom. Polaris is known to make some of the most extreme off-road vehicles in the world and seems like it has caught the fancy of Bollywood star Salman Khan as he was seen in the Polaris RZR 1000 in Dubai. Adaptive signals will soon be installed across Bengaluru to ease traffic congestion by regulating vehicular movement at road intersections. Unlike manual and conventional system, adaptive signals will facilitate smooth traffic flow at road intersections or junctions in real time by allowing green or red signals to operate accordingly.
And with that, we come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or you simply want to have a conversation? Well, hit us up on Twitter, we're ready to talk. If it's about technology, you can reach out to us at News18 Tech. If it's about automobiles, you can reach out to us at News18 Auto. Well, that's about all for today. We'll catch you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.